Hello, everybody. Welcome to our e-learning sessions for Prep 2. Our session for today is about the novel David Copperfield. We will take chapter 4. Now, in slide number 2, you will see the name of the chapter is A Fall into Disfavor and Shame. Disfavor means dislike or hatred. Let's see what happened in this chapter. In slide number 3, you will find David's suffering in life started in this chapter. He spent all his nights crying alone in his new room. He felt that nobody loves him, and he missed Emily and the walking on the beach together. The next morning, David was awakened by his mother, who was very upset with him. And she accused Peggy of turning David against her. She told her what? She told her that, "How can you turn my own boy against me or against anybody who is dear to me?" And she said to herself, when I deserve, and on my honeymoon, when I deserve a little peace of mind, Davy, you naughty boy. And this was the first time she told him naughty boy. And then what happened? Mr. Murdstone asked David's mother to be firm with him. And she said that she's trying to be firm, but now she is upset. Mr. Murdstone threatened David. Threatened David means made him feel afraid that he would be beaten like an animal if he didn't improve himself. He told him by the words, "If I have a difficult horse or dog to deal with, what do you think I do?" David said, "I don't know." And he said, "I beat him. I make him cry, even if it cost him all the blood he had. I would do it. I will get the better of this fellow." And these words were very frightening to David as a child. And then he asked him, "What's on your face?" Actually, it was the marks of the tears, but David didn't say so. He said, "Dirt. It's just dirt." Mr. Murdstone wanted to improve him, but in a cruel way. Now in slide number 4, David was scared and said to himself, "If only Mr. Murdstone was kind and told me kind words, or spent nice time with me, or showed me some pity, he would have respected him instead of hating him in that way." Now, one day, Jane Murdstone, Mr. Murdstone's sister, came to stay with him in the house. She was just like her brother. She was a gloomy-looking lady, dark like her brother. Also, they have the same voice, the same appearance. They are both cruel characters. And when she met David by the door, she told Clara. She told Murdstone. Sorry, she told David Murdstone, "Is that your boy sister-in-law?" My mother said, "Yes, I was her son." "Generally speaking," she said, "generally speaking, I don't like boys." And this was the first meeting with Miss Murdstone. Okay, in slide number 5, she said that she came in order to help Clara, David's mother, because she's so pretty and she's so young to control the house, and she's thoughtless to have any trouble. And asked Clara to give her the keys of the rooms of the house, all the keys. By that time, Miss Murdstone became a kind of a jailer, prisoner, and David and his mother are her prisoners. She became the prison keeper, and David and his mother are the prisoners. She started to change everything in the house, so David's mother doesn't have any word to say. They were not asking her about her opinion. And after a while, David's mother, objected and protested. She said, "No, I don't like that." She protested against what she was doing in her own house without taking her permission or even her opinion. But Mr. Murdstone became angry after Miss Murdstone said she wants to leave. She doesn't want to stay in that house because she's not welcomed. She was acting anyway. Mr. Murdstone became angry with her, and soon she became obedient again when he told her that you have to respect and apologize to my sister. Okay? And David said that I never heard my mother afterwards giving any opinion or answering any question before just asking Miss Murdstone about her opinion first. In slide number 6, David used to have the lesson with his mother, and he was quick and willing to learn in the past. However, in the presence of Mr. and Miss Murdstone, he got confused and he tripped a word after a word after a word, and the words were just every word was wrong while he was reading. Every time Mr. Murdstone raised his head and watched him, he got more confused. Mr. Murdstone started to teach David, and he used to give him terrible and difficult pieces of arithmetic. He gave him difficult issues and difficult equations in purpose. In slide number 7, David spent 6 months or more receiving a very bad treatment while taking his lessons. The only comfort he had was his father's collection of books. There was a room in the house that nobody entered and nobody knows about it. So David used to spend his time reading in that room alone and thinking of his present life. In slide number 8, David was not doing well in his lessons, so Mr. Murdstone took him upstairs and started beating him with the cane. Do you know the cane? The stick, the wooden stick. And this was the first time that David got beaten. David's mother and Peggy were crying and felt very sorry for him, but they had nothing to do. There is nothing in their hands to do. David was locked in his room for about 5 days as a punishment, and he was only allowed to walk in the garden for just half an hour every morning. In slide number 9, Mr. and Miss Murdstone persuaded David's mother that he was very wicked. He became a very bad and naughty boy. And they decided to send him to a boring, cruel school near London. Peggy promised David to look after his mother and to take care of her and not to let anybody harm her. The next morning the cart arrived, David got into it and it set off. It started its journey to the new boring school. Now in slide number 7 we have some questions here. Question number 1. How did Mr. Murdstone threaten David when they were alone? He threatened David that he would be beaten like an animal, like a horse or a dog. He would get the best out of him even if it cost him all the blood he had. Generally speaking, I don't like boys. Comment. These words were said by Miss Murdstone to David and his mother when she visited them and saw David for the first time. And this showed how wicked she was, how bad she was. Number 3, what was David's opinion of the firmness that the Murdstone talked about? Now David understood the word firmness as another name of tyranny. Tyranny means to have some cruel, acting cruelly about anybody, to use the cruel attitude about anyone. So it's translated in his mind as tyranny. In his opinion, that was certain gloomy devil's way of thinking that was in them both, who are both Miss Murdstone and Mr. Murdstone. Question number 4. Clara, I'm surprised at you. Comment. Who said these words? Mr. Murdstone said these words to David's mother when she protested, when she said no against the changes Miss Murdstone was doing in her own house without even taking her opinion. In slide number 11, question number 5. What was David's problem when Mr. Murdstone and his sister gave him lessons. Now let's see. His problem was that the lessons were very long, very difficult, so David could understand little or even nothing of these lessons. These lessons were a daily misery. In question number 6, what did David do when Mr. Murdstone beat him? David begged him first, Mr. Murdstone, not to beat him. While Mr. Murdstone was beating him with the cane, David caught his other hand between his teeth and bit him. Bit him hardly. He used his teeth to protect himself. Number 7, the cat will hear us. Comment. These words were said by Peggy to David when he was locked in his room. She asked him to talk quietly so that Miss Murdstone, the cat, wouldn't be able to hear them. And in this place, she told him that they are about to send him to a forest school. You will come in the holidays and be a better boy. Comment. These words were said by David's mother to him when he was going to his new school in London, and she was persuading him that he was wicked and going to the school would make him a better boy and a better person. And that's it. Hope that you enjoyed the lesson, the chapter, and see you soon.